in the realm of herbal immunity. For the last 2 years, our team has been working with top doctors, nutritionists, and chemists to develop the ultimate nutraceutical formulation. Experience the benefits of combining over 14 ancient herbs and extracts with exciting new advances in nutraceutical science. For a limited time, get 25% off on this introductory offer. Visit ancientdefense.com or call 888-253-3139. ancientdefense.com. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new INFOWARSLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules, you will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. Wild crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of oil of oregano. Now available in our limited first run at INFOWARSLife.com. That's INFOWARSLife.com or call 888-253-3139.
Just one day after Obama asked Congress to authorize an expansion of the war against ISIS in Syria and Iraq, ISIS has captured the very city where Marines are training Iraqi troops.
Joe Biggs here with INFOWARS.com. Now today we got word that the Al-Assad air base in Iraq has been attacked by a group of ISIS insurgents. Now, at the base, they currently have anywhere from 300 to 320 U.S. Marines, devil dogs, holding their ground in that area. Now, what that base is being used for right now is a training ground for the U.S. Marines to help get these Iraqi forces prepared, armed, and trained to fight the ISIS insurgents who have now closed in and taken over 90% of the al-Baghdadi city, which is northwest of Baghdad. So you have Baghdad, Fallujah, Ramadi, then you make a right up the Euphrates on the road and you'll see al-Baghdadi. But the thing is though, it's about 20-25 miles from al-Baghdadi down to the Al-Assad air base. So that's a straight shot, a straight road. I just checked the map. I'm going to put up the picture here in a second so you can see where that is. But here are some of the headlines about what's going on today. This is from the Examiner. U.S. Marines in danger in Iraq as ISIS seizes town of al-Baghdadi. Well, this is the thing. I don't really fear for the Marines. I know these guys. My dad was one, my brother, my best friend. These guys know what they're doing. Trained to fight, and they will not back down. The thing is, though, is the president is looking for a war. He wants another 3-year contract. He wants to send a limited amount of troops into Iraq. Now, if something like this happens, a bad thing like this happens, and these guys, God forbid, something happens to this base and it gets taken over, that's going to spark fear in a lot of Americans, and they're going to be up in arms and ready, and everyone's going to be screaming war and thirsty for blood, and then they're going to get the go-ahead, and Congress is going to go, yeah, let's do this, and they're going to go and send all these troops in, and we're going to be stuck in another war yet again. Hopefully, the right thing will be done, and they'll send in like an AC-130 Spectre gunship, and they'll bomb the hell out of that area and take ISIS out, and we can be done with this, and we can go back to our normal, everyday lives. But I don't see that happening with the corrupt government that we have. Another Fox News headline is failed ISIS raid tests U.S. forces in Iraq. Now, this is the thing. When I was over there, these kind of guys, they like to send out what we call probes. They probe, they attack you, with small arms fire, suicide bombers around your perimeter, and see how you react. They look at your TTPs, your tactics, what you do when you react to an attack at your base, and they take notes of that, and they go back and they make another plan to see if they found any weaknesses in how you reacted. So hopefully these guys are on point, which I'm sure they are, because like I said, the U.S. Marines are badass. So I'm sure they're going to be on their game, and ISIS right now scratching their head and now Baghdadi going, maybe this was the wrong mistake. I shouldn't have messed with the devil dogs. Here's another headline in Daily Mail. ISIS fighters wearing Iraqi uniforms attack Iraqi base. Like I said, they were using suicide bombers as well. So this is what's going on right now. It's an ongoing story, so everyone keep their prayers for these Marines out there and the Iraqi forces who are going to be fighting. Like I said, this is a probe, which means there'll probably more attacks to come. Let's just hope that our government for once will do the right thing and give these guys the air assets they need. But we do know that lower flying altitude type aircraft like Kiowas, Apaches, smaller planes aren't going to be able to go in that area, because we know ISIS has the capabilities to shoot with missiles and take down planes, just like what happened with the Jordanian pilot. So hopefully, like I said, they send in something like a Warthog or an AC-130 Spectre gunship and just wipe these guys off the map. Stay tuned for more reports. I'm Joe Biggs with INFOWARS.com.
So if this is all true, the capture of the Marines will undoubtedly provide sufficient impetus for Obama's authorization of military force. This includes the use of ground troops. The authorization is going to last 3 years, and there are no geographical limitations on the use of that military force. According to NBC News, 54% of Americans say that they want their member of Congress to vote for this authorization. Now, Marines were evacuated from Yemen earlier this week as well. They were forced to surrender their weapons to Houthi rebels. This was how CNN initially reported that. But the Marine Corps has issued statement after statement rebutting these claims. They say that they were forced to destroy their weapons with sledgehammers in the airport parking lot. They were forced to remove bolts from their personal small arms in order to render them inoperable. And then prior to turning them over to these Yemeni security personnel, leaving them behind in the 20-some cars that Houthi rebels then seized. Now, a Pentagon spokesperson initially told reporters that the Marines had to leave the weapons behind because they had to board a chartered commercial flight. But of course, we know that the Marines fly that way all the time and they're able to bring their weapons. So something here doesn't quite add up. Obviously, we never get the entire story. But another thing that doesn't really add up a lot of the time is what happens to a lot of these weapons. Perhaps they're not being seized by rebels, but a lot of times they are abandoned. And then sometimes we take the excess killing machines and give them to other government agencies.
Who's allowed to fly model planes and helicopters in America? Well, the answer used to be anyone, but not anymore. We're going to take a look at the legal argument that the FAA has used that could be extended even to Frisbees. And we've got an INFOWARS exclusive look at a Freedom of Information document that shows who was using Predator drones and Reapers domestically in America in 2014 while the FAA was cracking down on model planes. Last November, the FAA asserted its authority to prohibit anything, quote, invented, used, or designed to navigate or fly in the air, unquote. And it's busy regulating unmanned aerial vehicles under 55 pounds into extinction. There's a story that closely parallels what's going on at street level, where the government puts cameras everywhere to watch everything the public does, but prohibits us from even filming government buildings, and where cops arrest people who film them in public. You see, the government must see everything, but we should be blind. They need to know everything, but we should not be informed about anything that they're doing. It's just been announced that this giant tethered blimp will monitor an area the size of Texas, and we're told that it's for cruise missiles that may be shot at us. But then they say it's for downward-looking views. And we see a FOIA request reveals that, quote, the technology was specifically designed to integrate a very high-definition video to track and identify people and vehicles in a 3-mile radius, unquote. But of course, we're being paranoid if we suggest that this technology will be used for what it was designed for. And while the government's paranoid surveillance knows no bounds, the public, of course, should have no cameras in the air. And any irresponsible use of a drone by an individual is used by the government as well as the media to call for a blanket prohibition of citizens having drones, shutting down competition to the media companies as well as shutting down a technology that could be used as a check on government abuse of power. When the FAA first asserted rules for model planes last November, it was only just 4. And now we see just a few months later, the FAA has already expanded it to 33 detailed rules. That's the way bureaucracy metastasizes like a cancer. And it's the way big business keeps out startup competition. We've already seen how it works. Raphael Perker was hired to do a promotional aerial video for the University of Virginia. The FAA said that he operated without a license and he had flown recklessly close to buildings, cars, and pedestrians. They fined him $10,000. He pointed out that it was a 5-pound styrofoam model airplane, and he hadn't hit anyone or anything, and he'd caused no damage and no injury. But the FAA wasn't going to be stopped that easily. They argued that their ancient statute defined aircraft as, quote, anything invented, used, or designed to navigate or fly in the air. The judge at the National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, said there was no enforceable FAA rule that he violated. And he added that the FAA was trying to exert authority over anything that moved through the air, including even, quote, a paper airplane or a toy balsa wood glider. The judge threw out the fine and slapped down the FAA's power grab. So government bureaucrats said that other government bureaucrats could regulate even paper airplanes, even Frisbees if they want. And after months of legal battles, he finally agreed to pay a reduced fine of $1,100, and the FAA got what it really wanted, a precedent. And now they're off to see how quickly they can shut down the public, treating a 5-pound styrofoam drone as if it was a Predator drone, treating a drone flown in downtown Manhattan the same as they would a drone flown over a private ranch in rural Texas. But let's forget about these little toy drones. What about real drones? Serious surveillance and attack drones. They're already in the hands of Homeland Security and many federal bureaucracies for use in the United States domestically. This FOIA request given to INFOWARS shows that there were just under 700 FAA licenses for UAVs to be used in the U.S. And virtually all those licenses are in the hands of the military, law enforcement, environmental surveillance and mapping, and of course, universities. In other words, the military-industrial complex. They'll be monitoring your activity from the air, with agricultural spying, with police spying, with tax authority spying, with the EPA spying on you, just to name a few. The BLM is even being given Department of Defense surplus drones that originally cost $250,000 so they can map out resources. Because those might be of interest to the corporate patrons of senators like Harry Reid. They can look for violations of new environmental rules and then steal the land from private landowners using excessive regulatory fines. And of course, the BLM doesn't need a certificate of authorization from the FAA to fly. It operates under a memorandum of understanding. So these BLM drones don't need no stinking license from the FAA. And so that's in addition to 11 drones being used by the USDA and the Department of Interior in this FOIA request. But we can see from this FOIA request there are a huge number of military drones that are permitted for domestic use. Perhaps they're solely for training, perhaps not. Homeland Security has 10 Predator B drones. The Department of Defense calls them MQ-9 Reapers, and the manufacturer describes them as hunter-killers. Customs and Border Patrol, which operates under Homeland Security, has another 6 hunter-killer Reaper drones. So this one document shows that DHS has 16 hunter-killer drones for domestic use. Why? And it's not cheap for Homeland to fly their Reaper drones. $8,000 per hour, according to the House Intelligence Committee. So they spy on you and send you the bill, but you better not fly your 5-pound styrofoam plane because you just might get pictures of what our government is doing. For INFOWARS Nightly News, I'm David Knight.
For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At INFOWARS Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know the fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com and to help others during Christmas by teaching them about the powerful benefits of silver. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Introducing Secret 12, the new INFOWARS Life Vitamin B12 formulation. Most forms of vitamin B12 are highly processed and synthetic and could not be properly absorbed by the body. That's why for real results, so many are having to turn to painful B12 injections, which are known to have higher absorption rates. Now, InfoWarsLife.com is excited to announce that we can bring you our most bioactive, powerful form of B12 that has been developed with our exclusive perfected process. Secret 12 is a binary of nutramedical grade, bioavailable coenzyme form